Good morning, afternoon, evening. Hello everybody, this is Nightmare on Scam Street. I've taken the opportunity of doing two videos in one here. The first video was fairly slow, how to set up your aircraft and get everything set up right for flight from cold and dark, and how to plan your flight in SimBrief and then transport that across to the airplane. So we basically got out of Liverpool and we are over Wallasey. We've gone past Wallasey, so I thought I'd stop that recording because that's done now, and all I need to do is edit that later and make this one live, which is what I'm doing now. So, calm day over the Irish Sea. It's not a terribly long flight. Say if you've got an aircraft that you really like and you'd like your own special livery, contact Saul, and there's the email address at the bottom of the screen. You can contact me direct at nightmarelines@gmail.com, and if you wanted to ask me anything in particular, don't mind what. So yeah, we're under automatic control, being lazy, let the plane do the work, and if we have a look at our flight path, you can see all this pink stuff around Dublin. These are all restrictions around particular points. So you got to climb up to 240 now. Nice one, 240. If we take off the constraints, you'll see there are loads and loads and loads of little waypoints here. I think when we get to Rimvu, I might just do a direct to DW846 so we can cut off all this stuff. So we'll just go across straight from there and then round. But the runway's not that direction. There's the runway there. So there's an awful lot of messing around. So I reckon they'll give me better instructions when we get there. That's what I think. The COVID is still a problem. During the last video I had to take breaks for coughing and uncomfortable episodes. Shame, but that's how it was. Day 5 now, I think I am. Day 6. I can never see these other aircraft. Don't believe you. Let me look. Let me look. So it should be over here somewhere, shouldn't it? Oh, there's one. Just gone. I thought the idea was it'd give you enough space to move out of the way, perhaps. Never mind. Yeah, so the COVID's still an issue, and we're all isolating still. You just start doing something, and then suddenly you just feel, oh, I can't be bothered to carry on. I'm just exhausted. And it's amazing how quickly the exhaustion sweeps over you. So my plan, I think, is to go from Rimvu to, or even now, direct to EIDW. Let's try that. No, that'll still bring us in the wrong angle. Well, I think I've broken something now. Oh no, I haven't. Go back to original, that's it. How's our... Oh, we're not going up very fast. This is one of the things that happens when you get a little bit higher. You need to give it a nudge. So you tell it by pushing the, or pulling the button out. That's what I want to do. And then you can... And then you can select a rate of climb using that second control knob. It's strange, but on a clear day like today, there's really nothing much to see. Bits of land down there, bits of land down there. It's yeah, very weird, because you literally don't know where you are. We just went over another aeroplane. Brilliant. So about halfway across now. There's the moon. No, it's a full moon because yesterday, no, day before yesterday was Mid-Autumn Festival. One of the big holidays in China. My daughter-in-law's Chinese. And they eat these things called moon cakes, which are scrumptious, absolutely gorgeous. And they've got this way of cooking an egg so that the center of it is still runny. Yeah, the outer is well cooked. It stays like that for ages. They put them inside these moon pies, and they are amazing. They just taste so incredible. I've never had anything like it ever. So I think that's the coast of Ireland approaching, or we're approaching the coast of Ireland over there. We should be coming down soon, I would imagine. See if we can see our symbols. So expecting, let's see, what's Bagzo's height? Yeah, we should be coming down. We should be told to drop down to 10,000 feet at Bagzo. There we go. Oh, 18,000 first. I'd like to try and get down these descents fairly quickly, because the runway sneaks up on you if you're not looking. You can be thinking, yeah, making a nice clever descent and it's all pretty, and suddenly you've overshot the runway or flown over it even. Right, we want to try and get the speed down a touch. I would prefer now to keep the speed below 240. And the reason for that is that I want to be able to put the landing gear down, which is a maximum extension speed, I think, of 250. Yeah, extension 250, but I always do it at 240. We're due to be at 18,000 feet by then, so we've got all this way to go to drop the final height. So I think Shannon Centre will probably tell us to drop height again, because we're coming to that point where we should be going down to yeah, the first contact with a new centre is normally, hello, you're there. When we get to 18,000 feet, we'll be told to drop even more. Doug, how lovely to see you, my friend. I've seen you on, I've seen some of your videos. You're doing alright, aren't you? You've been doing some good stuff. We're all, the whole family has COVID right now. We all started a week on Saturday. A week ago last Saturday, my granddaughter came in and said, I don't feel very well, and she was burning hot. So we did a COVID test and she was positive. 2 days later, her mother and father were positive. And then I was yeah, and then I went down with it. I was positive on Tuesday last week. And then my wife was Wednesday. So yeah, we've all got it. Don't worry, I'm not spreading it via the microphone, I promise. So how are you and yours doing then, Doug? Really? I wondered if it was possible to catch it more than once. Does it get easier as you have it a second time, or does it just as bad? Yeah, I've heard other people say that later times feel like flu. Oops, I accidentally put the flaps out. I've lost my taste. Um, and it's really horrible because you're eating things you know you normally like, but it's just texture. My voice has held out so far. I've noticed it's getting a bit ropey just at the moment. Yeah, it's weird when you eating something you really think, oh, I haven't had one of those for ages, and you eat it and it's just texture. How long did it take you to get over the first time, Doug? Okay, I'm going to need to be thinking about landing now, so be quiet for a moment. We've still got a way to go to get down. It doesn't look like we're going to get down till there. That should be okay. Drop some more speed off and put some more... 6 months it took you, wow. Okay, pal. Nice to bump into you. Speak to you again later, yeah? Be safe. So I'm down to flaps 2. I want to get down to full flaps fairly soon. I remember my landing lights. Okay, we really need to be hammering it down now. So that's our expected point where we're going to reach the height we've set. So we should get it just before that curve, and then we should just come in on the glide slope. Just double check, I've seen this happen before, that nothing in the radio system for the nav glide slope, but it's there. Right, so I want to slow down a bit more. We got full flaps, gear down, locked. I haven't got any part of the the ILS system yet, but we're still a few miles out. We're still actually 180 knots at 8,000. Well, I was instructed to go down to 3, and the plan does say 3,000 here, round about here. So follow last instructions. I prefer to be a little bit on the low side. I don't mind coming in low and then letting the glide slope come to me. I hate being up above the glide slope and chasing it down. So 165 knots. I'll put that into managed speed now that we've got all the flaps. So we'll probably be somewhere around 180 knots. Yeah, but don't forget I've got full flaps on. If I go above 180, I'm actually going to be over speed. So I understand what you're saying, and without flaps and gear down, that would be correct. But I've got full flaps here. I have gear down, so this is my maximum speed. Anywhere else I'll be into the barber pole, and it's on managed now. Put my speed on managed so that I'm not having to worry about it. The system's working it for me. If you look, I've activated the controlled speed, controlled heading. The altitude is sort of controlled, but as soon as I go to approach mode, when I've picked up the ILS, so we've got that one, that's on. Probably should be higher. I agree with you. And I'm not a real pilot, so I appreciate any advice that people give me. I'm more than happy to be told I'm doing something wrong or could do it slightly better. So don't worry about saying stuff. So we're coming up to LAPMO. And at LAPMO we should be at 3,600 feet. So I could perhaps creep up slightly. And pretty much any time now we should be seeing a glide slope. So why are they going around? It's probably just congestion on the runway. Dublin can be very busy, and I've tried to land in here a few times and been sent around purely because somebody else is dilly-dallying on the airport. Yeah, it sounds like Ryanair 23 was on the runway there. So what planes do you fly, Lackwed? Alright, so we've started to pick up the glide slope. When we get past LAPMO, I'll put it in approach mode. Oh, math cubes. What a wonderful time to see you. How are you doing? We'll have a chat later if that's okay. Maybe this afternoon. If you're going to be around at, say, 1400 Zulu. The graphics have improved so much on this. I mean, that looks real, doesn't it? I found a modification that's supposed to give better graphics at low level. It uses Google Maps. I'll just pop it on. We might crash, we might not, I don't know. So we're about 10 miles out. I'm assuming, Laqued, that you'd just about be lined up. You'd be lined up and stable now, but you'd have followed the glide slope down from 8,000 feet a bit further out. There's our runway. Let's have a quick look, see if we can see anybody near it, on it. Math cubes, it's going alright. We've all got COVID right now. I'll give you a call on Skype about 2 o'clock GMT, if that's okay. This afternoon, if you're going to be up still. So I'm basically just letting this plane fly itself in because I don't feel like doing anything difficult. I'll take the autopilot off in a little bit. Nice one. So we've got Pappies, 2 white, 2 red, 2 red, 2 white. So that means we're nicely on the glide slope. So if I kick off the autopilot, hang on, let's get the brakes armed, ground spoiler armed, everything ready for landing. That's CCAM actions done. Right, so I'm just going to kick off the autopilots. So I'm high on the glide slope. Bit low on the glide slope. We're getting there. Nicely lined up again.
100 above.
I know I should go around, but I'm just exhausted now, so I'm just going to get it on the ground. Come on, stop floating. That was just forced down. I probably broke something with that landing, or that splat. Can hardly call it a landing, but okay. There's a lot to think about when you're coming in, as Mr. Lackwood would know, the real pilot. And it's much harder when there's only one of you doing it. I fly also in a simulator not too far from where I live. Is an A320 simulator. It's a static one, but it's fully realistic controls linked up. I think they use Prep 3D or Prepared or something like that. That's the main simulator they use in there, and I've done hours and hours of flying in that, and that's quite good because it's a completely different perspective, and I also have a first officer, so if anything goes wrong you can get the first officer to do stuff for you. Yesterday, as an experiment, I did a engine fire just after takeoff. I let it get up to 300 feet, and then the engine fire. It was a 2-bottled engine fire, which means it took 2 bottles to extinguish it. And once you start working through all the ECAM actions, your mind is just completely off of flying, and that's why it's so important to have that first officer on board. It'd be a nice addition to Flight Sim if they could actually get the system where you could become someone's first officer. That would be cool, wouldn't it? So they could do the flying and you could do the first officering. So what time is it? About 10:29 Zulu. So I hadn't planned this little trip, so as I say, this was the back end of a longer video which was going to be how to set up your system from cold and dark using SimBrief and ChartFox and Flight Simulator, and merge all the lot together so that you get a good flight plan and set everything up to take off. That takes about half an hour in reality. So and I kept having to stop My throat's getting sore now, so we're nearly at the end anyway. I should have stopped at that wrong way, but nobody told me to. So if you're not a member of the channel or not, sorry, not a subscriber to the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing. I had a break of about 2 years or 2.5 years, not produced anything, and YouTube decided to curtail some of my privileges, and luckily live streaming wasn't one of them. The only thing that's curtailed right now is the well, there's a couple of things that are curtailed, and I need to do some work to get them back, and one of them is to get my viewed hours up, and there's something else I have to do as well. So if you don't mind clicking on the like button, I'd really appreciate that. If you want to leave a comment, yeah, please do. I appreciate it. You can always contact me at nightmarelines@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you. So our little man's waving us in. That's the trouble. When you stop this plane, it stops. You have to give it a boost to get it going again. Once it's rolling, it rolls lovely. So it's lined up. Right now you're thinking, I'm going to hit him, I'm going to hit him, I'm going to hit him, I'm going to hit him. That's it. Done. We're in. Now the boring part. I'm not going to go through this, but basically we just go to EFB, chocks, ground power unit, chocks, overhead, and then we can shut down and do everything we need to do. So I'm not going to do that. It takes about 15 minutes to turn off the aircraft. So thanks everybody for watching. Andrew will give you a call later on, and